This week, members of the Legislature's Joint Finance-Appropriations Committee took tours of state-run facilities in the Treasure Valley, including the South Idaho Correctional Institution, where officials discussed issues running Idaho's correction facilities.
And I think in a lot of historically and how we have designed prison infrastructure, if we've got that wrong. We have taken our more secure infrastructure, we'll have two-man cells, we'll make it ultra hard. And as people demonstrate that they're doing the right things, that they're making the right decisions, we reward that behavior by putting them in an open dorm, barrack-style housing unit with 150 of their closest friends, with no privacy, with everything's out in the open, and it's a really tough living environment.
Coming into this last half of the session with new chairs, new vice chairs, new people on the committee, meeting sometimes for that first day of that, first day of the session in JPAT. And then trying to go through 108 agency budgets and potentially 150 budget decisions. There was a lot to do.
One of the ideas the Board of Corrections considered and ultimately approved is a program that we call Expanded CRC, Expanded Community Rehabilitation Centers. These are men and women who, within the last 2 years of their system, to get into a CRC, you're low risk, you're doing all the right things, they're employed in the community, they're working in the community all day, and then they come back to sleep with us at night. They are the single most valuable real estate in our entire system in terms of preparing people for reentry.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when we talk about corrections, we're talking about number of beds. And I think the better conversation is making sure that we have the right beds for our system. So we certainly need more capacity, but we need a different kind of capacity. So for us, we have a number of people living in beds of a higher security designation than what we would classify them. And so, as a matter of policy, having minimum custody type beds that can help provide different opportunities for people, it's a good policy, but it's also better math because the right beds are cheaper to build than really secure and hard infrastructure that quite frankly doesn't match the composition of our population.
It gives me a lot of perspective. It gives some people needed perspective. It gives some other people a perspective that don't need, right? Because they have some idea about it. For me, it's frustrating. It's really difficult to get that same perspective to the rest of the state. But for us as legislators representing the parent, it's good that we know and we come here. We see the true, facts on the ground of what we're budgeting for, what we're appropriating and how that works out.
The corrections consumes a lot of the state budget. A lot of people care deeply about public safety and corrections role in it. So I think it really is exciting for them to come out and see firsthand, what corrections is, get to see, the people who live here as well as the people who work here. I know it means a lot to both of those groups, but it's hard. It's really hard to describe the value in talking about something versus bringing people out where they can see it.
On the Idaho Reports podcast this week, Associate Producer Logan Finney talked with Twin Falls County Jail Administrator Captain Doug Hughes about measures that jails take to address overcrowding in jails after failed votes to expand those facilities. You can find the Idaho Reports podcast wherever you get your podcasts.